Hey, Mike with Nerd Problems Gaming here, and today's video we'll be doing a review and how to play video on Harry Potter, Mischief, and Diagon Alley, so let's get into it. Alright, so now that we got the game out, let's walk you through some basics on how to play and set up the game, and then I'll jump into my review after that. So the general story of the game is that you are new Hogwarts students preparing for the new school year, and so you need to head to Diagon Alley to get your school supplies, but a mysterious hex has been cast over Diagon Alley, and all the supplies have been scattered randomly between the stores, so you need to restore order and get items to where they need to be to get your school supplies and make it to your first year of Hogwarts. And so to set up the game, it's pretty simple. Each player will choose their own player board. You'll set up the cobblestone middle area. You'll give each player one unique set of die, so you'll have a number-based die, a left, right, center based die, and then a different item die. And then for a 3-player game, each player will get 4 items of one that their store is not specializing in. So just look at the bottom right corner and make sure you have 4 items that don't match that specific type. You'll put the remaining 12 tokens in the middle here. Now to start the game, you'll choose one player to say 1, 2, 3, Wingardium Leviosa, and then the games begin. And so to start off, all players are going to roll their 3 die all at the same time, and then based on the die that come up, that will determine what type of action you take. And so the goal of the game is to get to the point where your store only has the item that's listed in the picture in the right corner. So for example, this player is going to try and eliminate all the items in their area and be only left with books. And you can have any number of books just as long as it's just books in your area. Now when you look at the die that you roll, this will indicate the type of action you can take. So in this case you have the 1, meaning you can move 1 item. In this case it's a book, so you can move 1 book to the right. So you'd simply be able to move or take 1 book from the player to your right. Again, there's the center token, so this would be 1 book from the center, right, left, and then there's also a wild icon, the question mark, which you can choose what you want. Same thing with the middle die. You've got the owl, the wand, the broom. There's a chocolate frog in here as well. And then there's also the wild symbol that you could choose from. And then the die is simply 1, 2, or 3 for the items amount that you could throw to either another player or take from another player. Now one thing to note is that you need to roll all 3 die every single time. You can't hold die. You must use them all. And you also don't need to wait for other players. So you just continue to roll as quickly as you can, getting your combination of 3 and taking the appropriate action. Now again, you can give items or take them based on the die that you roll, and play will continue back and forth between players until one player is left with only the items required in their store, and when this happens you can yell "Mischief managed" and end the round. So when it comes to scoring the round, the player that won gets 3 galleons, and then you'll move on to the other players. For the other players, you'll count up how many items you have that match your symbol, and subtract 1 for each additional item you have in your store that does not match your symbol. If your score is positive, you'll get that score, but if it's negative, you'll simply get 0 for that round. And play will continue through multiple rounds until one player gets 11 galleons to win the game. Now there's a couple different variants to the game as well. I won't get into them here, but consult the rulebook for more information on how to play with those variations, and also a way to simplify this if you're playing with younger players. But that's a general idea on how you play the game, so now that you know the basics, let's jump into the review. So now that you have a better idea on how the game works, how do I actually feel about it? Well, the game itself is pretty fun. It's a simple dice rolling game that feels very similar to classic games like LCR, where players will be frantically rolling dice on their turn and shifting items throughout stores in Diagon Alley to organize their store first and get the various items where they belong. And the first player to do this will earn galleons or money, and other players may or may not earn galleons depending on the breakdown of items in their store. And then the first player to reach 11 galleons will win the game. And so the game is pretty simple. It's easy to learn and it's really fast to play, but the intensity can get pretty high as you don't wait for other players to finish rolling their die. It's basically as fast as you can roll yours, and once you've set your die, you'll move your pieces and try and be the first to organize your store. I like the artwork of the game, and the components are really sturdy, and the dice are cool having their individual symbols on them for the different items you can find in the store. There's also several variants in the game as well, so if you don't like this base version, there's other ones where you're preparing for school. And there's even a simplified version if you're playing with really young kids. I think it's fun for kids and adults, and if you like fast-paced dice rolling games and are a fan of Harry Potter, I would definitely recommend checking out Harry Potter, Mischief, and Diagon Alley. But let me know in the comments below, have you ever played other games like this? Does this look fun to you? Are you going to pick this game up now that you know a bit more about it? Let me know in the comments below. And if you'd like to pick up a copy of this game, there'll be a link in the description below where you can do so. And if you like videos like this on video games, board games, and everything nerdy, check out one of our other videos here. And if you haven't done so yet, be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell notifications to get the latest updates of new nerd videos we put out. But once again, thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you more soon.